Hey everybody, welcome back to Rachel Reads. My name is Rachel. I love to read and write Christian fiction, and today I am doing the Nutcracker Book Tag. So I saw this on Miriam Elizabeth Reed's channel, and I love the Nutcracker music. I actually didn't know there was a book behind it, so I am definitely going to add that to my TBR and hopefully read it one day. But I love the music and I love the story. I've read a few retellings, and in general, I just love the Nutcracker. And it's Christmas time, so I thought this would be a great tag to do to kind of bring some of the Christmas spirit in. So yeah, I have all the questions with me, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Question number 1. The Nutcracker takes place on Christmas Eve. Choose a book that takes place during Christmas time or gives you those magical Yuletide vibes. And for me, I'm going to pick Catching Christmas by Terry Blackstock. I don't own this book, that's why it's on the screen, but I really enjoy this book. This takes place during like the early Christmas time, so like early December all the way to I think December 26th or 27th. And I just really love this book. It is such a comforting and cozy read. It has all the Christmas vibes, and it's just really wonderful and a special book. I try to read it every year. I don't know if I'll get to it this year. Hopefully I will. Question number 2. In the ballet, an epic battle takes place between the Nutcracker and the Mouse King. Choose a book that has great action or adventure. For this, I'm going to choose Exiles by J.L. Knight. This is book 4 in the Ilion Chronicles, and I really chose this one because the Ilion Chronicles just overall has a lot of action and adventure, but specifically in this one, we explore a lot of the different people groups, and we see the people groups like in the glossary in like the other books. But in this book in particular, we explore all of them and we see all of them, so I really love the adventure aspect. And it is J.L. Knight, so there's a lot of action and a lot of stuff happens, but it's a great book. Book 1 is Resistance, and I highly recommend checking it out. It is a Christian fantasy series that is epic. Question number 3. The Nutcracker wouldn't be the same without Tchaikovsky's iconic score. Choose a book that involves music, musicians, or dancers. And for this, I have 2 answers. One is The Enchanted Sonata by Heather Dixon Walwork. This is a Nutcracker retelling with a little bit of the Pied Piper, so there is a lot of musical aspects. Our main character, I think her name might be Clara, but she plays piano, and music plays a very important part in this retelling, and I really enjoyed all of that. The other book I'm going to have to pick would be The Lost Melody by Joanna Davidson Politano. Our main character is once again a piano player, and there are definitely more books by either author that I could have picked. There is kind of like a melody our main character's hearing, and we don't know if it's real or not. And I really enjoyed that aspect. I would look up some of the trigger warnings before starting this book. Number 4. The ballet changes locations when Clara and Nutcracker travel from her bedroom to the magical land of sweets. Choose a book that transports the characters to a magical or unfamiliar realm. Think portal fantasy, though not exclusively. I'm going to pick The Wonderland Trials and the entire Curious Realities duology by Sarah Ella. This is a portal fantasy. It is dystopian and fantasy, and I really love this book. So this transports our main character Alice from the normal world to obviously Wonderland, and this has it's light in the Christian content, but the allegory is just very well done and very much Alice in Wonderland. Number 5. Upon arrival in the land of sweets, their first destination is an enchanted snowy forest. Choose a book that has a snowy, wintry atmosphere. And for this, I'm going to pick A Time to Speak by Nadine Brandes. A lot of this book takes place in Antarctica, I'm pretty sure. And it is very wintry and very cold. The cold plays a big part in that section of the story, and it's just so interesting to see all of the characters as they're moving from place to place. Number 6. Clara and the Nutcracker present themselves before the court of the Land of Sweets. Choose a book that involves a royal court setting or that follows royal characters. For this, I'm going to pick The Princess Companion by Melanie Sellier. Obviously based off the title, we are around royalty the entire time of the story, and there is a lot that goes on. We see some of the political aspects, which could be considered the royal court, but we're around royal people the entire time. There is a prince, there are 2 young princesses who our main character is the companion to. There's the king and queen, and then foreign princesses are coming in. It's just a great story. This is not Christian, but it's completely clean. Number 7. One of the most memorable parts of the ballet are the series of dances representing different countries: Spain, Arabia, China, Russia, etc. Choose a book that takes place in a country far away from your own. And for this, I'm going to pick The Hidden Prince by Tessa Afshar. So this takes place in Jerusalem and the surrounding areas during the time of Daniel, which was really interesting to read about. And this is definitely far away from the United States. And I don't know, I really enjoyed this book. Book 1 has been my favorite so far, although I'm excited for book 3. I love the rich Israel culture that we see, and I enjoyed following it, and it does take place far away from where I live. Question 8. However, most people know these dances by their various treats they represent: chocolate, coffee, tea, peppermint, etc. Choose a book that involves food, baking, or cooking. And for this, I'm going to say The Reluctant Godfather by Alison Tebow, specifically the character Burndy. Burndy loves cooking and baking, and he has a lot to do with sweet treats. And that plays a big role in just his story, because there's some short stories where he pops up and he just wants to bake, and the poor guy, just let him cook. And I love Burndy for that. He is just hilarious. But The Reluctant Godfather does have to do a lot with baking and sweet treats. Number 9. At the end of the ballet, the Sugar Plum Fairy and her prince dance an achingly beautiful romantic pas de deux. Choose a book that has a beautiful slow burn romance. And for the final question, I'm going to have to say A Midnight Dance by Joanna Davidson Politano. Obviously, by the title, this does have to do with dancing and plays and ballet, which ties in directly with the Nutcracker. But I love the romance in this book. This was the second or third Politano that I had read, and absolutely fell in love with it. I loved our characters. The first time I read it, I did not understand the twist that was coming, but rereading it, I love it even more, and the romance is just beautiful. She does great with her fave content, so I really recommend her books, especially if you love historical books. So that is all for today's video. I'm not going to tag anyone, but if you're looking for a Christmas video, I recommend doing this one. Consider yourself tagged. That is all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope God blesses you today. I do my best to post Tuesdays at 12:30, and I'll see you next time. Bye!